Are you experiencing a spiritual or psychic awakening and you're trying to navigate the distance between who you were and who you are becoming? You know deep down, this is the transformation that you want, and you want to move forward with clarity, confidence, and courage. This show is for you. You're listening to or watching the Sedona Soul Sisters Show, where we share psychic guidance and insights for your embodied spiritual awakening. I'm Christel, and we're on a mission to support spiritual seekers to access your intuition, unlock your psychic gifts, and live your purpose. You can schedule sessions in Sedona or virtual psychic readings, mediumship, angel readings, Akashic recodes, breath work, Reiki, starseed readings, and more on our website at sedonasoulsisters.com. It's time to repair the healing web on planet Earth. This episode is focused on cultivating your intuition and opening your psychic gifts. It's important that whatever you choose from these practices, pick the ones that feel the most available, the most exciting, the most inspiring to you first. I would encourage you to do is to add one practice for 21 days and to build it into your routine instead of trying to do all of the things that I'm going to mention today. Building success into whatever practices you're cultivating, to me, is the most important thing. That if you try to add 30 things to every day of your life, you're going to fail and give up and be done. Yet, if you build success with one practice, then you can implement others and build on success and build it into your routine. A really important part about cultivating both your intuition and your psychic gifts is to clarify what sources you are open to receiving information from. The unseen realm is really powerful and can also be slippery in that certain energies can present themselves in a certain way, so you think they are aligned with your highest good, yet they're not. So it is really important to clarify what type of information you're open to and from what sources, and aligned with love and truth. This is part of my clarification. If it's just a free-for-all, I'm open to any insights and psychic guidance. You can get a lot of junky information that isn't going to help you, or if you're working with other people, it can create chaos. So it's really important that you clarify for yourself what kind of information you are open to receiving, that it's aligned with the greater good, it's aligned with love and truth, or whatever aspects you feel are really important. And even love can be a little bit slippery because most humans have elements of codependency built into their relationship or people-pleasing tendencies. So often even love can be a little bit slippery to use as a benchmark for it. Truth, on the other hand, is unwavering in that truth is truth, and it isn't swayed by my personal thoughts, beliefs, or fears about my relationship with other people or what might happen if I follow the guidance that's coming through. The first one is breath work and meditation as the place to start for both cultivating intuition and your psychic gifts, is because it addresses the main challenge in cultivating both of these skills, which is the monkey mind. The monkey mind is the enemy of cultivating your intuition and your psychic gifts. So from the start is learning to recognize the monkey mind, to work with the monkey mind, to manage your stress when your monkey mind is going crazy, which generally increases stress in your whole system. It becomes really difficult to trust yourself and trust the insights that are coming through, because literally if your body is flooded with stress hormones and your mind is racing, it's very difficult to trust in the quiet, calm, centered guidance of both your intuition and your psychic gifts. Learning to work with your breath to calm your system and to settle the mind. Meditation is not emptying the mind, which for most of us is going to be a rare occurrence. I've been meditating for decades, and I still have practices where it's the monkey mind has too much energy. And a key part of breathwork and meditation is working with those two in combination to be able to settle the system and calm the mind. Cultivating your meditation practice is working with what is, working with the state that you're in, and learning to trust your intuitive guidance, the messages that you're receiving, and working with what you do have in the moment. Trusting your instincts or trusting your gut is the next thing to cultivate. And with this, I want you to start listening to your intuition on really small, low risk things. Like, for example, the other day, I opened the silverware drawer and my guidance told me which spoon to choose. In the same second, my brain was like, that's ridiculous. The first inspiration was to pick a specific spoon. The monkey mind immediately jumped in to talk about how ridiculous it was that my guidance was telling me which spoon to choose. I know to just trust the guidance. Which spoon to choose? There's little risk, right? All of the food made it into my mouth. You could spend a lot of time questioning why a spoon matters, and the spoon isn't what matters. It's when you receive intuitive guidance or that intuitive hit or whatever it is for you, the variety of ways that it comes through, listen to it and follow it, because the more that you deepen your connection with your own intuition and with your guides, the more that you just follow instructions, the more clear the instructions are, the more guidance you will receive. When I was getting dressed today, I wanted a scarf that had red in it. And there was one that I had worn the other day that totally matched what I was working with. And it had red in it. It's a beautiful scarf. I love it. And my intuition said, get the red and blue one. And my things have been in storage for years. And there was a part of my brain that was like, do you even own a red and blue scarf? Did you get rid of it? Because I got rid of a bunch of my clothes before everything was moved here. I received the guidance, wear the red and blue scarf. Then the second guessing, the monkey mind came in and said, I don't even think you have a red and blue scarf. Blah, 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 blah. And I didn't listen. I just went to the closet to be like, do I still have that red and blue scarf? Was that my imagination? And look what I found. There it was. Was it life-changing that I wore this scarf instead of the red and orange one? No, absolutely not. It is the practice of when I receive guidance is following the guidance. Journaling is a beautiful practice for both cultivating your intuition and deepening your psychic skills. In my morning journaling, looking at the astrology, the major aspects that influence me personally at the collective astrology, the lunar phases. The astro weather has been super helpful in the last few years, because little did I know that the last few years has been a lot of really intense astrology for me personally. So that's been very helpful for me to have an idea of what things may be arising for me. There are many journaling practices like morning pages, made popular by Julia Cameron in her Artist's Way book. 3 pages of non-stop stream of consciousness writing. So you're not editing, you're not thinking, there isn't a prompt. It's literally emptying your mind onto the page. Some people really love that. I prefer to take a more directed approach to my journaling, that I am writing and creating my life and the future. I found morning pages would often go in a direction pouring energy into things that I didn't want to have written down, things I didn't want to pour my energy into. The whole point of it is to just empty your mind so you can start the day. I highly recommend her book, The Artist's Way. It's a beautiful, powerful book. Check it out. Using journal prompts is another powerful practice. There are gazillions of journal prompts on the internet. You can write down quotes that you love and just take a quote each day and write what you're inspired about. You could also pick a tarot card each day and write what insights you receive for yourself. I pick 2 cards and I ask for guidance from the goddess, 1 card, and then from God, the 2nd card. What do you want me to know today, goddess? What do you want me to know today, God? And then I write what I see and am inspired from with the card. There are many books, whether you're using tarot cards or oracle cards. I recommend you don't use the book, even if the deck is brand new to you. Let yourself be inspired by the card. We have ideas of how our intuition and our psychic gifts are going to come through. One of the biggest transformations I had with reading cards, my intuition is words and hearing, feeling, and a sense of knowing in my body. So for a long time, I would look at the cards and I would be like, well, what am I supposed to see? What does this mean? I would get blocked. And when I stopped trying to make it be something, which is a key mistake I encourage you not to make, cultivating your intuition and your psychic gifts, is don't try to make it anything, any of it. Move into a calm, grounded, clear state. Ask for guidance. Make a clear request. When I stopped trying to make it that I was supposed to see some symbolism in the picture and that I would see something, like if it was a television screen or something, when I stopped doing that, I started hearing the messages. Voila! There we are. My greatest gifts are right there available to me. But because I was trying to make it be something, that the visual for me was messing me up and my idea of what it should be, when I just moved into a state of allowing the photo to inspire the words to come through for me. When I'm journaling, then I'm writing them. I look at the photo, I see what inspires me. I've asked the question, Goddess, what do you want me to know today? God, what do you want to share with me today? I look at the picture, I allow it to inspire me, and then I start writing. They'll hear words to start with, but the monkey mind tries to jump in to be like, well, what is this going to say? And what is it going to mean? No, monkey mind is not invited. If I hear words before I start writing, which I generally do, I get the first few words and I start writing. And then sometimes I will look back at the picture again and keep going. But for me, once the words start flowing, there's this beautiful dance between what is drawing my attention on the image and the words coming through. It becomes this beautiful reading. Mindfulness is such a beautiful practice that helps slow us down enough to be in the experience of whatever we're doing. Most often, people are in a very stressed state going through everyday life, which, as I've already mentioned, makes it very difficult for intuitive guidance to make it through the noise of the stress. By slowing down in mundane activities like washing the dishes, cooking a meal, making your bed, driving to work, so many of these mundane things we aren't even present for. How did I get to work? I don't even remember driving, because it's like we zone out, we go into automatic pilot. Instead, mindfulness practice is a practice of moving meditation. Mindfulness practices are an incredible way to change our state. For example, in the morning, my monkey mind jumps in to complain about all the things I need to do, all the mundane things I need to do to start the day. I have to make the bed. I have to get dressed. I have to wash my face and do my hair. If I allow that to go, then monkey mind burden of the mundane is now setting the tone for my day. Instead of allowing the monkey mind, the stress response, to jump in, I take a breath I move my body. I breathe more deeply before I make the bed. I think about how good it feels for me to see that the bed is made, how appreciative I am for a good night's sleep, a comfortable bed, cozy sheets. I am shifting out of a state of stress and into a state of being present and also a state of gratitude. I could go down the track of complaining and feeling like making my bed is a burden and how mundane and blah, 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 follow that monkey mind stress response. Or I could take a breath, come into my body and practice mindfulness. Practice making the bed as part of the art of living. And when I take that approach, when I shift out of stress and into appreciation, gratitude, the art of living, then I am more present, and I am also cultivating beauty in my life, in my home. The same is true when I'm getting dressed in the morning, when I'm washing my face and doing my hair and putting jewelry and makeup on. I am creating beauty, which is one of my values. Yes, the monkey mind often jumps in to say, I don't want to do my hair. And I get to mindfully choose to go a different way and to keep redirecting the monkey mind. The monkey mind very often is a stress response. I feel pressured to do all of these other things. Why do I have to get dressed first? Or I just want to get on with my day, or I just want to do a fun thing. Mindfulness practice is a way of being in the present, being in a state of appreciation, acknowledgement, gratitude for the simple things in life. I was talking to a friend today about appreciation for electricity, for running water, for a flush toilet, because we both have lived off the grid, where those things weren't a given. They were luxuries, and being able to shift into a practice of presence, which is a state of being, which for both intuition and tapping into your psychic gifts is the most important thing, is to move into a state of being, listening, and receptivity to be guided. Nature is a beautiful way to receive messages, to be in a more receptive state to what's around you, what you're hearing, seeing, feeling, sensing, knowing, experiencing. And from that state of being and doing, like if you're walking or hiking or fishing or doing some sport in nature, you are in both a state of being and doing, and opening your senses on all levels to guidance, inspiration, insights. The other day, I was walking to the center for an important meeting, and just before I got there, a hawk flew right over my head. So I took that as an incredible blessing from the animal kingdom. And then right before I got to the front door, there was a raven up in the tree making sounds. Both of them are messengers, powerful symbols of connection to the spirit realm, to guidance and blessings. Be open to the messages, the connection with nature. Being connected to nature helps us also get in touch with the cycle of the seasons, the lunar and solar cycles, and many aspects of nature, which it can be very easy to get disconnected from. Yet, when we are deeply connected to these natural cycles and the natural world, our bodies, minds, all of our senses become more receptive to intuitive guidance and our psychic gifts. Creative expression. I spoke about getting dressed this morning and my scarf. A huge part of my creative expression is the clothes, the color, the jewelry, the makeup I wear, doing my hair. So that's a very simple way to cultivate your personal creative expression. Yet it can also be beyond that. Journaling, making art that is tangible, but also with your voice, with your movement, cultivating those ways of allowing yourself to be expressed is so important in cultivating, but not only your intuitive guidance, but also your psychic skills, because it gets you out of the ruts of ways of being or doing things. And it allows you to be in the state of expressing things without the monkey mind, the stress, the second guessing, jumping in the way. I worked with this really adorable young couple, and there was the monkey mind trying to get me to second guess what I was saying to them. It was kind of funny because I could watch both happening. I could hear the psychic guidance coming through, the intuitive insights that I was receiving, and then there was like the filter trying to get me not to say those things. And so I found it kind of entertaining because I've deepened my skills enough to know not to doubt or question the clear guidance that comes through. They get to do whatever they want with the information. It's just my job to give them the message. And the more that you allow yourself to be creatively expressed when you're receiving guidance or insights that your logical mind thinks are totally cuckoo, you will deepen your confidence in yourself to follow the guidance anyway. Developing your emotional intelligence is so important to deepen your ability to hold the intensity of human experience and to not let the monkey mind or stress response hijack the information that you're receiving, or your fear body or pain body can jump in and just be like, yeah, but the last time, blah, 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 blah. Being able to have that emotional intelligence, because so often guidance, intuitive and psychic, is supporting your healing and transformation, which is often uncomfortable. It's not always. Moving outside of your comfort zone to change old patterns or habits or ways of being is often going to be a stretch physically, mentally, emotionally. So having that ability to hold the intensity and to follow the guidance, even if these other aspects are activated. Working with symbolism in your everyday life is a beautiful practice. One of the symbols that I have set up in my life is that when I am in the inquiry of wondering if a certain decision or a path is a good choice for me, I ask for my team to show me feathers or to drop feathers on my path. And I can't tell you how many magical experiences I have when I am thinking about a specific problem I am trying to resolve, or I'm looking for an idea for something and something comes in and then boom, there's a feather right on my path. You can create other symbols like that. I have a kind of whole library that my team can speak to me through, showing me different symbols. Like a few of them are feathers, ladybugs, butterflies, dragonflies, hummingbirds, ravens, hawks. Most animals for me hold symbolism. So that is a powerful way I am open to guidance. And then of course, words on license plates or on signs, on social media. You can cultivate your own to mean something in particular. Being willing to make mistakes, take risks, and fail is an essential part of cultivating your intuition. At the beginning, I spoke about starting with things that are very low risk when you are cultivating your intuition. Like if you're deciding between two items on the menu for lunch, that is a very low risk decision. Yet if you ask your body, which one of these two is going to be a better fit for me to eat today? Will the chicken sandwich support my energy and clarity for the rest of the day? Or should I have the turkey salad to cultivate the kind of energy I want? Then listen to your intuition. Notice that sometimes the monkey mind can jump in and be like, yeah, but I want blah, blah, blah. Cultivate your intuition on things that are very low risk. right? As you keep going down this path, being willing to make mistakes, being willing to make a mess and learn from them and adapt and grow is an essential part of this practice. The next few tools are specifically focused on cultivating your psychic gifts. And the first one is cultivating your awareness of your environment, the people that are around you, how you feel about certain people, how you feel in certain environments, what you notice when you're in certain environments. If, for example, I met some friends for music tonight, and I was the first one to arrive at the table. I was able to choose which out of the many chairs that are at the table do I want to sit in. So something you could do to play with cultivating your awareness of the environment you're in, I could have sat in one chair and saw how it felt and then moved to another chair and really paid attention to how it felt in my body and sat in another chair and explored how each one felt to me, what I noticed in my own system, what I liked about each, how the experience of each chair changed my experience. Again, this is a zero risk activity. The monkey mind might jump in and be like, yeah, but what are people going to think? Don't let the monkey mind ruin your life. Let yourself play and experiment with what's happening and do your best as you're cultivating your awareness of your environments that you're in, is trying to expand beyond what you can see. Like if you're in a restaurant and there's a business next door, what can you see, feel, sense that's happening in that business that's out on the other side of the wall? Or if you're driving, you deepen your awareness of your experience in your own car and you start wondering, what is the other driver thinking? Where's the person in front of me going? Start asking questions like that. A lot of these questions, you're not going to be able to verify what the answer is, but you're going to get better at expanding your sensory perception and asking skillful questions. I learned in the early days of my practice is that the unseen realm works in a way that is very different than the physical, tangible realm and the way that humans communicate with each other. We're learning the guidelines of how those other realms work is so important. And learning that guidance or intuition or psychic messages or mediumship, if that is one of your skills, is learning how to interpret the information that you are receiving and learning the guidelines of how those other realms work is so important. The words we use to communicate with other humans, they don't work the same way with the spirit realm and in the unseen. And there's a way that things are very literal and you have to be very clear with the words that you choose. So I had to learn the guidelines, learn kind of the rules of the road. Well, if I ask for this, I'm going to receive exactly what I asked for, but what I really meant was something else. Cultivate your practice of working with a variety of tools. There are so many tools that people use in their psychic practice, like pendulums, tarot cards, oracle cards, palmistry, astrology, human design, and gene keys is really popular. Using these different tools to give you a place to work with. For me, touch is a huge way of receiving psychic insights about someone. Early days of my practice, the very first healing work I learned to do was hands-on energy healing. And then shortly after that, I became a massage therapist. So I have touched tens of thousands of clients in my career. And in the days where hands-on work was the primary thing that I did, that was when I really started recognizing that I had psychic gifts, because I would hear, see, sense, know things that made zero sense. But at that point, I didn't have human psychic teachers. I had teachers in the spirit realm, Yet I didn't have humans helping me to interpret the information that I had, and that I was accessing information from the Akashic Records long before I even knew what the Akashic Records were. And this is such a beautiful thing in whatever tools you are drawn to at first, whichever ways you receive information the easiest, focus on cultivating those and not holding some idea of what you want it to be. For example, I don't see auras. I'm far enough along in my journey. I know what my gifts are, and I lean into those while I am actively open to cultivating other gifts. For example, I wouldn't call myself an animal communicator, yet one of my clients, I have a beautiful relationship with my client's cat. I've never met the cat in person. So I work with this client over the phone, and there are certain sessions where the cat comes in and starts talking to me. Our most recent session, the client and I are beginning the conversation, and the cat is just meowing its head off. I know the cat's name, so I greeted the cat. The cat meows back to say hello. The cat continues to meow like crazy while my client is trying to tell me something. So I said, let's just take a moment to allow so I can hear what the cat is telling me. I start telling my client what the cat is telling me. The client is really moved. The cat totally calms down and stops meowing. And why did that happen, right? That client didn't hire me as an animal communicator. That's not something I advertise that I do. Yet because I am open to guidance and listening, right? The monkey mind didn't have anything to say about that communication with the cat, even the very first time it happened. I simply had a conversation with the cat, and I would speak out loud to the cat. And then the cat would meow to get my attention, but then the cat and I would have a psychic communication from far away, right? Hundreds, if not thousands of miles at different points, depending upon where I am in the US. And I didn't question it. When that first happened, I didn't go, well, I'm not an animal communicator. I'm completely making this up. It wasn't invited because I have the practice of listening and trusting and not closing any kind of information coming through from a safe and valuable source of information, right? Being open to receiving insights and guidance is a beautiful practice. And like I said about the animal communication thing, because I have extensive experience of deciding to allow information and guidance to come through, when it first happened with my client's cat sending me psychic messages, I didn't doubt it. I didn't question it. I didn't care if my client thought I was nuts. And she didn't, by the way. It's always been a really beautiful experience for her. And it's also a beautiful experience for me because it's like I have an insider that can share information about my client that my client may not see about herself, and which may not be totally obvious because I only have limited time each session. So I can't be tapping into every single thing about my client. So the cat most often brings in this beautiful wisdom that may not have come up otherwise in the session. Energy healing practices are a beautiful way to cultivate your psychic gifts. And I did a whole episode on using Reiki as a self-healing tool, which was episode 143. If you're interested to go deeper into this one specifically, it connects into what we talked about in cultivating awareness of your body and your environment. Energy practices like Reiki or Qigong or Tai Chi or many forms of yoga are practices that support you in cultivating your sensitivity to energy and your ability to direct and move energy in healing and powerful ways. In the practice of cultivating your intuition and developing your psychic skills, the last thing I want to share with you is to really trust the process. Let it be playful. Let yourself enjoy being curious about what you discover, and continue to anchor yourself in your core principles, your foundation of receiving information that is in support of the greater good, that is in service to love and truth in your life. I hope this has all been helpful to you. Thank you for being a part of our community. I am honored to support your embodied spiritual awakening. The focus of our next show is energy management practices and the ability to ground yourself in your energy, to clear your energy body, and to center your energy. We'll also work with some different practices to move, expand, and play with energy inside your own body and in your environment. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one to cultivate your intuition and to develop your psychic gifts, you can book a session at sedonasoulsisters.com. Please leave a review and follow on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, breathe gently, listen to your guidance, and create miracles.